Welcome, Screen Fiend fans. We were going to make this a StreamYard, but HD ended up doing a StreamYard on this before I did, so it made no sense for me to do it twice. So I'm just doing it in this format here, in video format. Now, here's the breakdown finale of episode 6. Now, going into this episode, you have a lot of different scenarios that played into what happened and the fallout. We had to get right to the action. Going into the finale, episode 6, it's only going to make people wonder, such as myself, why? You know? Why we didn't get 10 episodes? You know why? Because he's black. And we still gotta tackle those tropes. Right? Because, oh, well, Scarlet Witch is kind of known and they kind of know their story with Vision. Well, Sam has been around just as much as Vision, been around longer than him. You know, he came around, he's been around since the Winter Soldier. So Sam has been a part of this. And he's definitely part of this story because this is a Captain America story. And the whole trope of it since the inception has led us up to this point here. The sixth and final episode, which to me was one of the weakest episodes that they had. Shocking, huh? Yep, and the reason why it's one of the weakest, I would say, it's for very simple reasons. This was the end. And when you came to the end, they had to bring everything to a conclusion, and a lot of things weren't drawn out the way it should have been. I mean, the action scenes, when it first started off, is just a lot of action. Because they had all the buildup, and what you come to find out is the big shocking reveal, and if you hadn't seen it by now, then too bad. But, oh my God, Sharon Carter, Agent 13, is actually the you know who, right? Come on, people. So I'll let you answer that. Now, the Flag Smasher crew, which I never bought into all the way down the line. So we were hoping the power broker, oh God, I said it. All right, well, screw it. The power broker is Sharon, okay? Surprise, not surprise. Now, anyway, the power broker, which is her, which everybody in the free world has predicted, this is only outlining a major problem here. Because if this is the case, and all they wanted to do was, she could have killed the Flag Smasher at any time. These are the weakest people with the serum I've ever seen in my life. You know, granted they haven't had any military type of training with the powers that they have, but my goodness, they were so easily disposed of. You know, and it kind of, you know, for pacing and writing, they didn't really have enough. It was so many opportunities here, but it could have played out a lot better had the movie been wide, you know. So you look at the situation where, you know, the new Captain America who just lost everything and now he's made his shield and here he comes into action, you know, with his new made shield, like he's going to be Captain America no matter what. So now that he makes his shield and gets into the action and he's actually helping out and stopping the Flag Smashers and doing all this, trying to redeem himself for the actions that he's done. Now, while he's going through this whole rendition, he's basically blamed and told the family that he took care of the guy who did this. Like, he killed him. I killed the guy that did that. So, well, okay, if you killed that guy, then the case should be over, right? Wrong. It's not over. And the reason why it's not over is because this guy didn't do what the hell he said he did. The sister didn't look like she was buying it while the mother and father worked. So now, he was back in the fold, right? We thought we were probably gonna see that resolved. There, because of the lack of time, they didn't have enough time to go down that trope. Remember, they were going down Bucky's Pass and him redeeming himself and doing the things that needed to be corrected. The things that you saw in episode 1 with the old man that you knew he was gonna have to revisit one day. We never got a chance to really see that closure. We saw him go there, then we saw their tears, and then he leaves, the room and give that man closure. But we never see that. We never see that conversation. We never get to grasp that. It's kind of like brushed over, and it's like they don't have the time. So it's not like they didn't want to do it. It's like for pacing and time, and we only got 6 episodes. This is what we can do, but it hurts the program when you do that. So this is the reason why. And the Flag Smashers, they were nothing to get excited about. Really, it's like some juvenile teenager running around, keep doing stupid stuff, and don't care if she dies or who else dies. Some just crazy radical teenager. And it's like, okay, we got a crazy radical teenager running around. Whoop de doo. And we got to stop a teenager. Now, what was the saving grace was the speech he gave at the end. By having that speech at the end, that to me showed that they were more than willing to go there. And I was surprised that Disney would take that approach. And the conversations after the fact, after he did what he did, what Isaiah Bradley got to see, and they got to have a conversation, and how he's basically is part of Isaiah Bradley's life now. He kind of gave him back his identity and gave him back some respect, and to see people embrace him as Captain America, and it was showing the examples that America has done bad. It has a bad history. But that doesn't mean because it has a bad history, it has to remain bad. We have to make the change. We have to still move forward. If you just say, well, it's gonna be like that forever, and it's not gonna, then it's just gonna stay. Somebody's got to make the effort. He's gonna make sure that he follows the values that comes along with it. He's not gonna be a puppet. And that's what he wanted to tell Isaiah Bradley. Like, look, I'm wearing the stars and stripes, but I'm wearing it as me. I'm doing it as it to what it relates to me, what I believe it stands for, and I'm gonna stand on those principles to make sure it stands for those things. So that's that. I give it this rating of this episode. I give it 2.5 out of 4 stars. This episode. Um, I love the way it ended, the way they built it together, and now, you know, I thought that was corny though. Like, yeah, that's the Black Falcon. No, man, that's Captain America. I'm like, yeah, that would never happen with the brothers. Somebody black would have slapped that dude right away. Man, ain't no damn cap. Slap. But anyway, I got where they were trying to go with it. As in the end credits, you see that they have John Walker now is going to be U.S. agent, as we saw from the comics. I love the way they had um, Falcon's outfit look just like it did in the comics. You know, they kept it same design, everything. So when he just ended up taking over the mantle and making people really go back and reflect on the old comics. So I was very intrigued to see that and very happy on my end. Well, you gotta start asking yourself what's important to you, what's not important to you, and move on to those tropes. You know, you want to always be in the positive light of the situation, not the negative light. So I looked at it as a growing curve. You know, because for me it was always different watching this film because I'm black. If I was Caucasian watching this film, what would I think? You know, that's kind of an interesting question. You know, what would you think if you were African American watching this? You know that, but what if you were Caucasian aware watching this? What would you think? Would this bring the awareness that you think, or would you just not care? So Isaiah Bradley situation. Most people didn't know, but Isaiah Bradley was wrongfully, treated badly, poorly. That it was just so immoral damage that was done to him that they could never repay him for. But to see the way he responded, the way he wouldn't be forgotten forever, he'll be remembered for what he did for this country. That meant something to him. As bitter as he was about what had happened, he had every right to be. That meant something to him. Somebody actually acknowledged him. And for Sam to have that done, you know, that made a lot, meant a lot to him. So I was very pleased to see that. As a black man, we all know that we doing things where we built this country and a lot of things haven't been given to us or are just due. And people have reaped the benefits of our rewards and still are to this day. But it doesn't mean that we have to continuously go down this cycle. There's changes we can make as people, and we need to make them now. And it's bringing all these things to the forefront as he was talking to the world leaders and bank and all this stuff live on national television. I mean, that was super fictional because they wouldn't have gave a damn, but I enjoyed watching it. I enjoyed watching it. But overall, this episode was a mess. It was a lot of things colluded into one and smashed together, because they had no time. This was the last episode, so they had to do the best they could with what they had. So for anybody who might be like, man, I wish they would have elaborated on this. They could have did that. They made this in there. They rushed this. They rushed that. I love the helicopter scene. I love the images of him using the shield and the wings to know that, hey, that's the new Captain America. He got this. Like, don't worry about it. He's got it. We don't need Cap to come back to save him. Like, we got our new Captain America. Well, how does this play into Wakanda? How does this play into? Well, this could lead into the Thunderbolts series. The Thunderbolts now with Zemo leading charge. As you can see, he had the 4 remaining soldiers that they kidnapped, and they were going to the base, and then they got blown up. The super soldiers that were remaining, that surrendered, got blown up by Zemo's chauffeur. Now, I'm like, if Zemo has all these connections, and he was so powerful, what the hell was his family doing in Sokovia? I'm like, what were they doing over there? Sokovia was like a dump. Now, going through the gist of things, we want to make sure that we do everything properly the way it's supposed to go. You want to always give people their just due, give them their roses while they're here. There were a lot of different scenarios that took place that didn't quite sit well with a lot of people, and you understand that. It's a superhero comic movie, and like I said, for different people, it might not relate to them. They might not accept it. They might be like, I don't really care for that. That's cool. But think about how many comics, movies, and everything else that they created that didn't sit well with us, you know? But it's relative to you because you're used to growing up in a place where there's nothing but white people around. We didn't grow up in that reality. We grew up in a different reality. Our reality wasn't just all blacks. We had blacks, white, Hispanic. We had a whole mixed bag, So if we see a movie or a character with just African Americans in it and doing things like that, we've never seen things like this. So for us, Hollywood wants to make it look like you don't exist. They'll show a New York movie with only white people walking around in New York, and you was like, what? That is so not true. But that's the narrative that they want to sell you. Because more white people live isolated amongst themselves more than any other race in the world. They want a community where it's just controlled to where it's majority of them. And that's, to them, that's fine. They don't see a problem with that at all. And this is why they don't understand diversity and understand other people's issues outside of their own. They can't understand it. And that's why I had to call people out on their BS sometimes. They get caught up into what's happening in trending topics, and then they forget about who the hell they really are and what the hell they was really doing. Like, I watched the Super Bowl with somebody, and Beyonce did her performance at halftime, and the person watched the Super Bowl with us, watched the halftime, and everything, and then on the next day they wanted to be outraged over the the formation thing, and then this person's gonna tweet about it or say it on Facebook. Like, I was disappointed that Beyonce would do such a thing. I was like, you sat there, I was there. Don't get caught up into the BS. I saw it. You was there. You didn't give a damn about it. You waited till social media started tweeting and going off about it. Now you want to feel a certain way. So it is what it is, So you gotta kind of remember, these people don't grow up where you grow up. They grow up in a world that's different. But still, I had to call out the BS. So, on that note, I'm gonna get out of here. Hopefully, we didn't take too long. Don't forget to support the page, hit the like button, and look out for more videos that should be coming very soon.